Mob Games have just released a brand new trailer for Poppy Playtime Chapter 4, and oh my, there is a lot to be excited about. Hello everyone, my name is Just Jordan, and welcome back to the channel, and welcome your faces to some more Poppy Playtime content. In this video, I'm going to be talking about some of the things that you might have missed, and some really interesting details. And if that's something you do enjoy, hit subscribe. I've got a lot of Poppy Playtime content coming in the future, as well as coverage of Chapter 4, and of course, a Let's Play of it. But anyway, let's get into this video. So we begin the trailer with a lovely catchy character theme song coming from within the area. It sounds as if it's almost coming from a radio or a TV on speaker. Then we see something fall from the ceiling, and this looks to be pretty much similar to something like Play-Doh. But as this is happening, we also get an answer to whose song this is, or whose character theme song this is. And of course, it's Doughy. And if you're wondering, I believe this is what Mob Games were teasing on their Twitter the last few days, especially with the colours and what they were showing. In the background of the shot, it looks like Doughy had broken free from his cell and left a few hanging bodies for good measure. It will be interesting to see if the player had a hand in breaking out Doughy, or if it was under the guidance of Poppy. The screen fades to black and we hear Poppy talking. Down here, it's not like anything you've seen above. It's how, indicating that we're going to have a great time, that's for sure, but it's really bringing in an emphasis on the state of desperation and despair going on down there, which is really interesting. The first shot shows a camera panning through what looks to be like the prison holding cells, what's left of it anyway, after we see the player moving through part of the level, which again seems to be connected to the area, but a different part of the prison. Then we see a set of highly secured doors closing as the camera pans away, whilst Poppy says, and Playtime wanted it to be, reminding us of how twisted Playtime Co. became. In the next shot, we get to see and hear the Doctor in action as he speaks to us through the TV. Now, I'm not fully sure if the voice lines that we're hearing over the top of this footage is actually the correct voice line. I believe that what we're seeing here is going to be completely different from what we hear in the game. I think it's just a way to sort of sell the trailer and maybe add a bit more tension going into the trailer. Then we see another shot of the prison entrance and a voice explaining to us the history of the Doctor. Now, if you ask me, my theory already here is that I think the voice that we're actually hearing is Doughy, but just minus the effects of possibly the voice box. It appears that the Doctor is connected and uses the signals around the prison to his advantage, being the way he communicates through the TVs and speakers, and it seems to be anything connected to a computer from the look of it. The voice then goes on to tell us that he is the Doctor and he works with the prototype, and that he is the one in control down in the prison. Now, of course, I think it would be very interesting to know if this Doctor is a different character from Dr. Harley Sawyer, but my money currently is sat on this is Dr. Harley Sawyer, and we are actually seeing what became of him after the collapse of Playtime Co. But one more important thing here is that we really need to figure out early on if the relationship between the Doctor and the prototype is a mutual thing, or if the Doctor answers to the prototype. We then get to see a new hand which is left by a past employee. From what we can see, the hand comes with a handy dandy flashlight attachment, and because of the way the trailer is framed, they've hid what the hand will be doing in the chapter. We then see another shot from the prison from the start, but the player is walking around the area again. Then we get a good look at Yarnaby close up, and he looks like he's patrolling the area that the player is in. Hopefully, this time we'll be facing an enemy that can roam a little bit more freely, similar to how we were expecting Chapter 3 in Catnap to behave. In the next shot, we see a mural on the wall, and it looks like it was created to show the place, of course, was to be a safe haven, but as we can see from the smaller writing, it's not. This is most likely done because it would be too small for the TVs to pick up this tiny writing, and thus people could be warned of this place. It also shows a section aimed at Poppy and how she left us. Now, this bit of information will be very interesting the further we get into this trailer, but for now we'll keep moving. We then see the player transversing through the level using the swinging ability, and another shot of Yarnaby patrolling the area, which looks to be like a server room, which would make a lot of sense considering this could be the main place in which the Doctor communicates messages and information and stores data that he collects, so this would be the perfect environment for him. After this, we see more evidence of Dewey's breakout. Then we get a really interesting shot of the Doctor being connected to an exo-like skeleton. This is most likely the form he takes now that he lacks a body, and perhaps he can control many of the exoskeletons at once. And this would also explain why the prototype and the Doctor are working together. I'm almost thinking we might even see the prototype have an actual body in Chapter 4, or an exoskeleton at some point. Or, as I have another theory, but we'll see this soon, I think the Doctor has a hand at trying to put people or Playtime co-workers into the exoskeletons and creating a type of army that he and the prototype can use for their own gain. In the next shot, we see Poppy and Kissy hiding with the player, and one interesting detail here I really want to emphasize and point out is it almost looks like Poppy is having some kind of panic attack in the way she's holding her chest and moving back and forth. Something really interesting about this is that if this is true, this means Poppy could generally have a beating heart inside of her. But that's another theory for a different video. Make sure you hit subscribe so you get notified when it comes out, because I've got a lot to say on that topic, especially if this is true, because it answers so many little details that we were missing at the beginning. But again, I will go into it in a different video. Anyway, then we see some more footage of the player moving through the level and an interesting little interaction with an exoskeleton waving goodbye at the player as the player falls down. Now, the question we need to answer is the Doctor toying with us, or is it a rogue exoskeleton? Maybe it's one of the employees that have become self-aware in the suit and thus have a different goal from the Doctor or the prototype. Then, in the next shot, we see all the gangs here. The smiling critters are coming back, and hopefully they will still be as scary as they were before. Interestingly though, we have a new addition, and it is the smaller Huggy Wuggy. Interestingly, it looks like it's going to behave very similar to the smiling critters. Then we come to the bodies of the previous workers, more specifically the security workers, perhaps prison guards? These workers are the ones that I theorize the Doctor has tried to put into those exoskeletons and failed, or this is what remains of them. This shot really does set the darker tone that Mob are going for with Chapter 4, and I really do look forward to the idea of a very darker sort of setting within the Playtime Co facilities. Then we see a door opening with the player watching as it of course opens. I do wonder if this is going to be the area in which Dewey does break out, because I do have a slight theory that the player is going to help out with that breakout. And then we get to see another shot of the smiling critters in the area that we saw previously in the trailer. In the next shot, we see the player, Kissy and Poppy all running away from something and being stopped by the security door, which I think is linked to the next shot we see of Pianosaurus chasing something and running towards the camera. I do believe that of course what's chasing the player, Kissy and Poppy, is going to be a bigger scaled version of Pianosaurus. Then of course we get some more highlighted shots of areas that we're going to be going to, and the of course big reveal of Dewey and him asking us to follow him. Side note, this is an absolute adorable character, and if anything happens to him I will cry, just letting that be known. But one thing that is interesting is that while we're seeing all these exciting shots, and the voiceovers are telling a very different story. We hear the voice of who I believe is Dewey saying, "I failed you," and following this up is Poppy screaming, "You lied to me." Now, with this information and of course what we saw in the mural earlier, I think Poppy and Dewey are somehow connected. Of course, I can't tell you exactly how right now, but my theory is that those two have been working together from very early on. And of course, I think Chapter 4 will explore this. But more importantly, what was the lie that was told? And then of course we get the release date, 30th of January, right around the corner, and I cannot wait to play and explore more of this story and share my many theories with you that I have for the series going forward. But hey, thank you for watching this video, it means the world to me. If you've made it this far, please hit subscribe, it really helps the channel. And of course, if you enjoyed the video, hit like as well, you know, please the YouTube algorithm, do all the deeds. And more importantly, let me know if I've missed anything, let me know anything that you might have found that I completely missed in the comments below. And also if you have any theories or predictions for chapter 4, again, comment below, I'd love to read them. But with that being said, thank you so much for watching this video. Have a lovely morning, day or night wherever you are in the world. Stay safe and I'll see you all in the next Poppy Playtime theory video.